got slaps.
Thank you.
You know what it is? It's Mob. Got an interview with Lazie Locz. What's going on, Lazie Locz?
What's going down, man? I appreciate you having me on here.
Yes, sir. I wanted to go all the way back. What made you get into rap?
What made me get into rap? I think just being around like my dad, you know what I mean? My dad always was just like very musically inclined, would play all kinds of instruments and things of that nature. And then my mom would always be singing and my household was so like I had a split household, my dad and my mom was split up, but it was so much like different music, going on like from rock to like blues travelers, to reggae to like all kinds of shit, So I just think naturally I just took to music.
Hmm. Do you have a lot of inspirations? Like what kind of musical inspirations did you have?
Um, I would definitely say like my dad for sure. Woody, of course, like I grew up listening to him a lot. Uh, Sacramento, I grew up listening to Brother Lynch and T Nutty and all of them as well. So like my style is kind of a mesh of, as far as like my production goes, it's kind of a mesh of all that. But my influential background, as far as like how versatile I can get, that's like John Mayer. I like John Mayer. I like Nora Jones. I like things just way off the path.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. Outside of rap, is there any?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like John Mayer, Nora Jones. I remember I liked my dad first showed me Iron Man with Ozzy Osbourne, but he was in a band. What band was that? Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Sabbath. Shit, I liked a lot of things, bro. Honestly, I really did. I liked a lot of different music.
Ever into grunge or metal?
You
Nirvana,
know what? It's
Alice
a
in
trip.
Chains.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Because my mom used to play a lot of different things, and she would be going to like Ozfest every year. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, she'd be going to Ozfest, and so like yeah, for sure.
When I hear interviews with other homeboys, they always say that rap is their only influence. They never talk about anything else. So it's good to hear that.
Yeah, because I feel like it's almost programmed. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of like homies and shit, they got to have this fucking stern ass persona. You know what I mean? They got to fucking walk around like, they're the hardest out, woo woo. But in reality, I know some of the dudes that people, I know them personally that, especially in the music shit, that people think they're just straight gangsters and this and that, not discrediting them whatsoever, but they're fucking goofballs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
And
just too much to keep up that persona all the time. It just
yeah,
gets old.
yeah, I don't
And
even
it's
like it.
like, who you keeping it up for? Is it just for the women? Because I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes I don't even like some of the music I be doing, to be honest. I don't. It's just like, it takes care of things, you know what I'm saying? It does. I haven't had to work or nothing, but in many, many years. But sometimes I don't even like the fucking shit I be doing, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to talk about that shit, you know
Hmm. What type of music would you like to be doing?
what I mean? Shit. If I pulled it all up right now, fucking I got some radio hits, you know what I mean? I got a country song I'm working on.
Oh yeah.
I Yeah, like I got some shit, bro. Like you know what I mean? Just like more for the soul, you know what I'm saying? Like I do like the real life experiences, you know what I mean? Because it helps people. I've helped a lot of people through my music, but um I don't know. I got so much shit on here, bro. It's a you trip out. It's wild.
That's dope. I'd like to hear that. Was the County Blues album your first album?
County blues is a strange topic to talk about, bro. I swear it really is. Everybody asks me about that. I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
before that, I released fucking hundreds and hundreds of songs, probably, but never had no distribution. I never, all my shit was just on YouTube, you know what I mean? And so I was in jail at the time, and my partner, I'm not gonna say his name, but he hit me up and he's just like fucking, he's like, hey bro, I can get you on iTunes, you know what I mean? And to anybody who doesn't know anything, especially, that was 9 years ago now, about 8 years ago.
Hmm.
Like iTunes, your fucking eyes get wide, you're like, oh shit, I made it. I did something, you know what I mean? So I was like, hell yeah. And then fucking, it's a long ass story, but I wouldn't consider it my first album, to be honest. I really wouldn't consider none of these, like maybe like Highs and Lows or Vent, you know what I mean, would be considered to me like a real album, like feel like you kind of got to call them albums,
Hmm.
because of the distribution and shit. But like the real shit that I worked on that like really like fucking, hit my soul and was like just all raw, like real shit that I wanted the world to hear was Highs and Lows and Vent.
Just something up to your quality of standards, you mean? Is that what it was?
Mm. I think it was just something I really put a lot into, you know what I mean? Like real life blood, sweat, and tears. I know people say sacrifice and blood, sweat, and tears, but I'm talking about legit blood. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Legit tears, like fucking almost dying type shit throughout these albums, Like crazy shit. And and not no street shit, like personal things and all kinds of just fucking. So, and then the Strictly for the Homies, of course, I would consider that an album, you know what I mean? Because that honestly, what a lot of people tell me is that fucking that kind of sparked a lot of shit that's going on now that people are trying to do.
Yeah.
It
How
hasn't
hard was
really.
that to organize?
Oh, bro, fuck. That
There's
was.
so many people on that project.
I think it was that album or it was on the Red Homies. I can't remember, but one of them, I told myself I ain't never doing this shit again because the
Yeah.
folder was so huge, bro. Like just like scrolling through it, trying to find whose vocals go where, like all this different shit. I was just lost.
I'm sure getting a hold of everybody and getting everyone to make it cohesive, I'm sure was a little bit of a struggle.
Surprisingly, that was the easiest part.
Really?
Yeah, that was it. Everybody was just on board with it. You know what I mean? It was just that was what was trippy about it. And
You
then
didn't
like I
have
had
anybody flake out? Like say that they're gonna do this and it didn't happen?
no, nah,
That's
nope.
dope.
Everybody who I wanted to came through. At first, I thought Sneaks wasn't going to be on the album though, because I know he works a lot and shit. You know what I mean? And he couldn't really find the time for the studio. But then he was just like, "Fuck it, bro. I got a song that I was going to use for my shit, but you know what I'm saying? You could just use it for this." And so that was like maybe the only thing.
I was looking it up too, and that Refuse to Lose is your highest viewed video on YouTube.
Now, yeah, now it is. But I had an account before my YouTube now,
Hmm.
before my Instagram now, before my Facebook now. Um, my ex hacked and deleted all my accounts,
Oh,
and
that's scary.
yeah, it was everything since I first started, and that was only 5 years ago, I believe,
Mm.
when she did that. So everything that everybody's hearing now is relatively new. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like right now, that's probably yeah, that is my most viewed video. But beforehand, nah, that wasn't the case whatsoever.
Yeah, that's hard to lose all that material like that.
Yeah, that shit sucked, bro. That was fucking put me into a horrible depression.
I always tell that, and just to go off on another note, is I always tell my kids that is that when you get older, you meet better people. It's the people that you were with 5 years ago or even 10 years ago. you're not going to be the same person. So you always meet better people as you get older.
Oh, for sure. And your mindset changes, you know what I mean, with a lot of things.
You're all different persons as well. You know
Oh
how the
yeah.
way that you think and how the way you'd handle stuff. And really it's that experience that leads you up to there to be that type of person.
Yeah. I think though too, at age like comes definitely comes wisdom, you know what I mean? Like in within that same breath of me saying she deleted my shit,
For
you
sure.
know, like what did I do to cause that? You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the best person, you know what I mean? But she shouldn't have done that. Like fuck her still for that. But you know what I
No
mean?
doubt.
I wasn't the person, so it was like fucking, you know what I mean? And as I get older, I come to terms with certain things, and I feel as if I make as many things at least verbally right and spiritually right as I can. I can just walk a greater path, and I feel better about myself. You know what I mean?
hmm You could kind of forgive it or forget about it, but it's hard not to not think about and let that happen again. So you always keep that in mind that you're never going to let this shit happen again.
Yeah, it's like a real demon. You know what I mean? It really is like a real demon that haunts you, bro. Like it lives inside you. You know what I mean? No matter how good people act like they're doing shit like that, you just you know what I mean. You still deal with the day to day, and something might fucking pop up in your mind about it, and you're just like, fuck, dog, like I was a piece of shit for that.
Yeah. Have you ever faced adversity being that it's such a black game in the rap game? What type of adversity have you tried to overcome?
At first it was weird. I'm gonna keep it real. At first, rapping was strange, but I mean, I don't I don't think it was that much of a what's that word? It wasn't that much of a like a I can't even think of the word. Like you know, back when it was predominantly like mainly like black people rapping things of that nature. I think it was a little more awkward, like with him, like when Eminem came out, Vanilla Ice, you know, things of that nature. But I think, uh, I think around the time I came out, people were somewhat getting a little bit more progressive with their attitudes towards it. But
Yeah.
it was still fucking weird, you know what I mean? I'd be at a show and they'd be like, "What the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but I
Well,
also didn't rap and have the style I have now. You feel me? So it was probably like I remember being laughed at a couple of times.
yeah. Well, the reason that I'm saying is that back in the day, you know, Latinos used to pay blacks in the Bay Area up north in California to be on their projects, and then they wouldn't show the same love back. I think that was a huge problem. And them coming back and they would never put other homeboys or anything like that on their albums. I think that was a really messed up part of the game.
To be honest, I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know. I would definitely fucking get into that 100%. But I think that would be more for like a conversation off camera.
Yeah,
But
I feel you.
I've definitely because I'd probably lose a lot of fans. But I've definitely experienced that, bro. And there's I'm not even gonna say no names, but I have 100% felt that, and it's fucking crazy. But you know what? Now it's getting to the point. It ain't even. It's not even just like I did something with Prezi from San Francisco, from Hunters Point. I think he's from. I'm not
Mhm.
sure, but we paid him $1,500 for a verse. Excuse me, and he fucking he didn't give a fuck. He didn't show no love towards it. Didn't share it. Didn't he would like read my messages. He would ignore my text. You know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't bothering bro either. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like on his constantly like, you know what I mean? But just like bro, I paid you this money. You could at least share it. But he probably didn't because I am, you know, I'm like white. You know what I'm saying? So like fucking, I mean, that's what I truly believe, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think that shit should matter. It shouldn't at all. And that's what I've always seen is that they've never reciprocated. And it's not even because I'm part black too. So I'm not trying to go into like the race end, and people would get upset too. But that's what I've seen. Is my homeboys were coming up. I don't know if you ever heard of Dos Equis from San Jose. That's back in the early 2000s, criminal records.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I would always tell them that is, when you give someone that much money and then they would never show any love back and share your project or, give you any type of shine. It just, what doesn't make sense? Why not just do it on your own? I mean, going into present day, I'm just talking about something that's happened in the past or maybe something you've experienced in the past. But today, like with the young cats out now, like Young Gigs and Acito and all that, they're the gatekeepers. So everyone has to go through them in order to see their shine. So it's good to see that the transition from the youngsters getting that shine, and then long ago, no one was getting that.
No, you're right. But I even have my thoughts on not gonna pinpoint individuals, but like I'm just gonna say in general that most of the bigger artists that everybody listens to, I have DMs in right now on my Instagram. I have messages of them like, "Hey, what's up with a verse, bro?" or "Hey, beats off me and this and that," and you know what I mean. But then all of a sudden, start getting these views and start touching like. To be honest, I probably, and I'm not even talking shit or bragging, but I probably touch more money than they do without
Mhm.
those views and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And that's realistic.
That's
But
good. That's good.
I don't sit here and fucking brag about it, and I don't showboat. Like I'm the one of the most humblest motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like I try to always just like show love and teach people and like spread my knowledge as much as I can. But a lot of these motherfuckers are selfish, and they're reverting it back to what you was just talking about
Hmm.
with their own people. You know what I mean? Like treating fucking because again, I'm not being cocky. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm not just a nobody. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing
Yeah.
this shit. I've made a name, and I still get treated like I'm fucking dirt. You know what I'm saying? By a
Mhm.
lot of people. Like I don't get to be on the fucking. I don't get to be fucking. And it's not like me crying and all this other shit. You know what I mean? But like I say, like fuck Bizzler. You know what I mean? Honestly, and like they make people believe that you have to be on a list to be something. Do you know what I mean? Like you got to be, oh, who's the hottest in the Bay Area? Who's the woo? You know what I mean? Like fuck all that, bro.
Yeah.
And so they're reverting it towards their own people now, and it's fucking poison
Yeah. But still, it's good to see it progressed to what it is today.
for sure. 100%. I agree with that. I agree
Yeah.
with that completely.
Because I'm not trying to dig up anything or make it out to be negative. It's just what it was back in the day in the Bay Area. There's just no
Yeah.
denying it.
Well, shit. I didn't know much. I still don't know much about the Bay Area. You know what I mean? Because I'm from Sacramento,
Yeah.
so
Well, I mean, like up north, because like there's
yeah,
a lot of homeboys that were paying larger artists to do verses and whatnot, and they would never show love back.
yeah,
So I don't mean the Bay Area, just up north in general.
yeah.
So
And like I said, I'm not bad mouthing nobody individually. I just
yeah,
experienced it, you know what I'm saying, for myself. And I don't know. It's just strange to me. And the whole game is kind of strange.
yeah. What do you think about ever working with people outside of California, or have you?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I just produced a beat for what's bro's name? Hiroshi, what's his last name? I probably can't even pronounce it. But I just produced a beat for him, and he lives in Japan.
Hmm.
He owns a record store in Japan. These dudes from Australia the other day, they were trying to trade me like rare coins for a verse.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, I ain't doing that. Cause I started looking him up. He was like, bro, we have hell of these coins. I was like, I ain't trading no fucking coins. But yeah, I've done things with all kinds of people. Shows out of state, done shows in Kansas and all over.
okay. I'd like to see you do work with like people from Chicago, rappers from Chicago. I think that
Oh,
would
that
be a
that
good
would be
vibe.
tight.
Like Latins from Chicago. That'd be dope.
I don't even know any, honestly. Like I think more like, because like again from I think it's like what we see, because I don't know if you believe in the algorithm or anything like that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know much about it, but I feel like everybody's just kind of limited to what you see frequently. And so like I only really see like Texas, homeboys or Latinos or whatever from like Texas, or I don't know. I can't think of nobody from Chicago though.
There's a big one. His name is Wacko Dogs. I have to send you some of his videos or look him up. He's dope.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a good
Yeah, I
one.
definitely would do that. I definitely would do that for sure.
Well, it's good to hear that you're reaching outside of California. I think that's a big thing where it's cool that you are where you are, built everything where California wise, but it's good to touch outside to get more views and to become more popular.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's one of my goals too, is definitely like broadening my audience, because a lot of people don't realize, like, of course the music's good, it's cool, whatever, but there's a ceiling to all the to a lot of this shit. Then
Hmm.
people will never break through it, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so that's why I'm trying to like broaden my audience and be as versatile as I can, so I could literally just step foot anywhere in anything and just be like, put my spin on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think about producers that really haven't had any much experience and they still charge what they do? Because I've ran into people that haven't had anything out and they still want to charge $500, $1,000. Not to say that's bad or it's not what they, that's what I believe with artists that if you think you're worth this much, okay, this is what you put into it. But it doesn't mean that anyone has to buy it or fuck with it. But at the same time, someone like you who has all these projects and views and all that, you'd be worth a lot more. But what do you think about that in comparison?
Um, and this is why I keep preaching April 1st. If anybody sees April 1st on my shit, and I keep preaching, I keep counting the days down. I'm doing these deals for this and this, you know what I mean? A couple more days. Because April 1st, bro, I'm changing everything, and I'm not gonna announce it quite yet, but um the game is fucking, like how people talk about, to me, I kind of believe in it like how some people believe in, like, oh, this is the end times, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I believe that, I mean, maybe it's just for me, but I believe music is fucking just, especially the producing, or it's so oversaturated, bro. It's so oversaturated. You don't even have to put footwork in anymore. Like, while we're on the thing right now, I'm going to show you, like, literally, I'm going to open a pack right here. I got Fruity Loops. Let me find something real quick. Or right here, Bay Area. Okay, so here's me being a new producer, right? Which I'm not, but just mocking whatever. I'm a new producer. Listen to this drum kit. I didn't play none of that. I clicked one button. You feel me?
Hmm.
And so that to me is corny. They're taking fucking pre-made loops from somebody who actually put the work in, and they're just stacking loops and loops and loops and just clicking. There's no playing, there's no fucking structure of it.
So it's
They're
like a more advanced Fruity Loops.
no, I'm on Fruity Loops. That's all
Oh,
I
you are?
use.
Oh,
You know what
okay.
I mean? But it's like I don't know, bro. My opinions of it are so fucking, I hate it, honestly. I do, because I see people selling, hey, come over here, 10 beats for 300 or 300 beats for $10. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And it's just watering everything down. And there's no originality, honestly, and it's very rare if there is. And that's why I definitely respect like Kev Knox or like Filthy Phil. You know what I mean? Um, People who still have that originality about them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Shit, even Cdub, you know what I mean? Like he still sticks to his mob shit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Well, with anything, you get what you pay for. So they're definitely getting what they pay for.
Well, I just don't like it because I feel people are wasting their money. You know, because I feel like at least the people that if you're gonna go that route, and I always talk about it, if you're gonna go that route, you're gonna pay all this money for somebody who, to be honest, down the line, that producer is gonna catch on to the loop, and then so you're gonna end up getting a cease and desist
Hmm.
on your track. You're gonna end up in court, maybe if it gets big enough. You know what I mean? There's like all these legalities about it. So and then they don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
just gonna sell you a beat and then not care. And that's like where I feel like I come into play and I differ because like if I sell you a beat, I'm not just gonna sell you a beat. If you have questions, I'm not just gonna write you off as a customer. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna sit there, we're gonna chop game. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You want to know something, like we could talk hours, days, weeks, months about it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I always try to help people, you know? And so I guess to sum it all up, I don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what people are missing out on is over time, me and you have built up a rapport, and that's what they're missing out on. And that's, you're just not paying for the beat, you're paying for your time also.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Is there any people or producers, I should say, that you admire that are out current or the past, mainstream or otherwise, underground?
Mm, well, I mean, I gotta say Wood, you know what I mean? I love Woody's beats and back then if you kind of like listen to people's beats, you know what I mean? Like if you listen to people's beats, there was good beats, of course. But I mean as far as being underground, because I in a sense that was underground music, you know, was mainstream.
Hmm.
Got slappers, you know what I'm saying? To this day I'll still hear some shit and I'll be like, "Oh, that shit was knocking, bro." Like, you know what I mean? Back then. And
Yeah.
so him, Kev Knox for sure. I like Kev Knox a lot. Filthy Phil, I've always liked Filthy Phil because Lil Jago got me on the Filthy Phil shit.
Hmm.
Um, and what's bro's name? Uh, he produced for Mob Deep. Um,
Havoc or the Alchemist?
Alchemist, I like the Alchemist a lot too. I like the Alchemist a lot.
Yeah, the Alchemist is dope.
Yeah, I really like him a lot too. He has just his own unique like because I just watched a video recently. I've been watching a couple of them of him, how he kind of makes his beats and shit.
Hmm.
And in his studio, he just has a wall of vinyl. You know what I'm saying? And just how he flips it and finding that perfect little part is just so fucking dope.
Yeah. Have you ever heard Russian Roulette by him?
By Alchemist?
Yeah,
No, I haven't.
you need to check that out. The way that he put it together and structured it, it's just like one entire book. I don't even know how to describe it. So when it transitions from track, it just goes into like a typewriter sound, and the typewriter is the beat.
Oh,
So
that's
it
tight.
transitions like that. You have to listen to it. But that's
Yeah,
one of my favorite albums.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, definitely have to. What do you think was your favorite album so far that you worked on?
My favorite album. Mm, Maybe Highs and Lows or Vent. because it was the. I mean, it may not resonate with other people, but to me, it's even to my fiance and the people who know me personally. It's just when you hear that, it will just give you chills the whole way through because I was giving up on life. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of fucking, everybody has their story. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's been through their shit, but like everybody knows how much I love my daughter. I grew up seeing my mom drink and fucking, I knew I never wanted to do that. I never wanted to become that. And I became exactly the thing I hated most. Um, I almost died, you know what I mean? Fucking was in the hospital, all kinds of just crazy shit. People switched up on me that I thought were like really my brothers, and then I don't know. I think highs and lows are vent because that shit just fucking resonates so deep with me. You know what I mean? Like anytime I listen to it, that shit just fucking like somebody's gonna cry that knows me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
real talk. That's a fucking guaranteed fact. Every time one of those albums get played, someone's crying.
yeah, you can definitely feel the passion that you put into those projects. So check
Yeah.
those out if you haven't, for the people that are
Uh,
watching.
yeah.
What about collabs? Like collab albums like you did with BFK? Are you gonna do
Oh,
more of those?
yeah, me and BFD, we had the
BFD?
I-80 issue.
Yeah, excuse me.
Oh, you're all good. We had the I-80 issues. That was actually that was a cool project to put together because he came out here. He came out here to the pad and shit, and fucking we just mobbed around the Bay Area for a little bit and just was kicking it. He ended up crashing at the pad and fucking we just labbed and knocked hella shit out over like maybe 2, 3 different sessions. So that was cool. And then me and my brother TG, I don't know if you've heard him, but TG is fucking fire. We're
Mm.
working on something right now. He's in the Navy though, so it's taking a little longer. And then
Okay.
the one me and Hex just dropped. I think that one is fire. The one
Yeah,
me and Hex just dropped.
yeah, that's good.
That was a good ass one too, for
Is that
sure.
the guy that lives out in Colorado? Or am I mistaken?
Oh, that's Catman. That's my brother
Okay.
Catman right there. Yeah.
Because I know you're out in Colorado all the time.
And he picked me up from the airport the first time I came to Colorado. Um, I landed. It was fucking freezing as hell,
Yeah.
and it was him, Lil A, and the homie Hobby, and fucking. They already had a case of beers and shit. Sure enough, that fool pulled up in the Cadillac, lived up to his name, and fucking cracked a beer, and instantly we clicked like that. And then we're driving past the Broncos stadium, and that's kind of how I remember kind of a little bit where he lived. And he was like, "I hate those shit kicking motherfuckers." I couldn't stop laughing up. It was crazy. Oh, shit.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't know if you're
never.
a Broncos fan.
What's that?
I don't know if you're a Broncos fan.
Oh no, 49ers.
Okay, yeah. So that fool hates the Catman hates the Broncos.
Yeah, they're the fans here. They're I would compare them to Raider fans. How
Oh, he's a Raiders fan.
yeah, because that's I mean maybe that's why they don't get along so much because they're so passionate about their team. But
Oh,
I remember being out here when the Broncos were playing Seattle, and I was telling people that for the Super Bowl, I don't know if you remember that was it Super Bowl 50. I can't even remember. I can't remember which one it was, and I was telling people they're going to get blown out, and people were getting mad at me, and they get so upset just over the Broncos, but that's just the way it is. I think that's for everyone who loves their team.
oh, for sure. I had a homie named Demas. I don't know where he's at nowadays, but I had a homie named Demas, and this is what made me stay away from like kind of liking teams and shit because we was at the bar one day and he's a Niners fan and it was the Battle of the Bay that day.
Mm.
And he's like, he starts arguing with this dude and he looks over to me. He's like, Lazie, bro, I'm about to beat the shit out of this guy. Are you down? I was like, I'm done, bro. I'm fucking going home, bro. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, for sports, but it gets that in depth.
Yeah, it was wild.
Because I know I go crazy with fantasy football, and we don't have a general team. We just pick players, and I won this year by
Oh, I saw
default
it.
because my team, two of my players, one was Diggs from Buffalo, and the other is Chase from Cincinnati. I don't know if you heard about that game where one of the defensemen got injured, but he was knocked out and all that. I
Oh
don't know if you've seen
shit.
that before, but we didn't get to play that game, so I got no points for that game. So there was two combined weeks that you go for the Super Bowl of fantasy football. So I didn't get no points for that, and I end up losing by 3 points because the team manager didn't add those points. So if he was able to log into his account, he wasn't able to get into it. I would have won the season. So by default, I
Oh
won. So that was pretty fucked up. And I know we
yeah.
get kind of crazy over that shit. So I understand.
Oh yeah. I've seen some of the homies that have that, and they get in big ass groups with each other and shit. Be chilling,
Yeah,
getting
it's
wild.
pretty fun though. I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever tried it, but you should.
Yeah. No, I never have. That does sound tight though.
Yeah, just interactions with other people. I mean, that makes it fun.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
What instruments are you using now? NPC
Mm,
wise?
I'm just using like a MIDI controller and then the FL Fire. This thing's pretty fucking tight right here.
Mm.
This thing like controls the whole entire Fruity Loop Studio. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it, but it can control it literally from just that.
Okay.
It's a it's a trip. Like even from the mouse and everything, it's like just takes the computer over. It's fucking wild. One thing I do regret kind of because like now my dad's hands are a little messed up, so it's
Mm.
harder for him to like play the guitar and do certain things.
Also, you use
But
live instruments too, right?
um I have. But I mean, like as far as being able to play it like hella well, you know what I mean? I wish I would have just because my dad would just sit there like the growing up whenever I'd go see him in Santa Barbara or he'd come down or whatever, fucking he'd always just try to teach us guitar or teach us something, and I didn't soak it up like I should have. My dad can play anything. He could pick up this little colored light changing thing and make a hit record out of it. Crazy as
You,
shit.
you never use the machine or anything or
Oh,
anything
I
similar?
have. I have used that. I like that thing a lot too because that's actually good for sampling.
Do you have any advice for upcoming producers?
Upcoming producers.
Yeah.
Mm, I think I would just give this as a whole because I'm an artist and producer myself. Um, I think just for anybody who's thinking about doing music or wants to get into it, like for one, let me tell you this: it's okay to not do music. It's perfectly fine if you really, but if you just are kicking around your homies and whatever, you feel me? Because that's what it seems to be nowadays. For one, it's perfectly fine to actually be fucking intelligent, to actually go to school, to actually not do drugs, to actually fucking, I still respect your gangster that way. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But if you do choose to get into the music, first and foremost, do a lot of research before you do it on all the money, the little like distribution, BMI, song trust, getting your name copyrighted, like just all the basics of business. Learn that first. You know what I'm saying? Number two, learn the difference between a fucking leased beat, exclusive, and a free beat on YouTube. Because now all you guys are just fucking using YouTube beats. But when you go to monetize your shit, you can't get paid from your views because you're using something that a million other people use. So
Mhm.
that don't sign a deal. Do not sign just because it sounds good because you think somebody can get you on iTunes because they're going to take 40% of your shit. So go get you a distro, kid. I wish I had a promo code. That would be tight to be like, use promo code, you know what I mean? But fucking go get you a distro, kid, TuneCore CD, baby, and you keep 100% of your shit. You know what I'm saying? I guess my main advice is just be independent. Don't be afraid to try new shit. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking don't try to just fit in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's 100,000 plus songs a day being uploaded. I think now it's 500,000 songs a day being uploaded. So just think, what the fuck are you gonna do to stand out? Because I don't know. It's just like a sea of fucking seagulls all making the same damn noise. So
Agreed.
stand out, be different, man. Don't be afraid to be different and fucking yeah. If you don't really don't want to rap, don't rap. You know what I'm saying? Go get a job.
That was another thing that I just remembered when you were talking. You sold a lot of CDs for the one for the homies, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
You tell everyone that CDs ain't dead.
Oh, so no, fuck no, bro. And you know what? I gotta shout out One World Magazine on that one because yeah, shout out One World Magazine because he fucking I had a meeting with him in his office and he was telling me the same exact thing we're talking about right now. He's like there's a difference between like just seeing an artist on there, hearing the music, but getting something physical, you know what I'm saying, that you could hold in your hand. You know what I mean? There's something like way more special about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You don't necessarily got to listen to it, but I mean, shit, that's timeless right there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's something you could look back on. That's something that you could be like, oh, I remember that shit. That shit was bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, CDs are not dead, 100%. And I can tell you right now, I started being out the trunk like that. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
And I brought the CD game back, and fuck, I probably only got like maybe 25 CDs left out of all my albums.
yeah.
Those
I just
motherfuckers
want to
were
make a
gone.
point at that because I remember you saying that you sold out of everything that you had at one point,
Yeah, all the shirts, all that shit.
and people still have those cars. I have one where I still play CDs in it. So there's cars out there that still have CD players. It's not like it's
Yeah.
a tapes deck or something like that where it's not
Yeah.
around.
Well, you know what's actually sad though is that I don't remember who it was. I don't remember who it was, but I remember having a conversation with it had to been someone's kid or something, but like the generation they don't they're just like blind to like sometimes even what a CD is.
Hmm.
Sometimes what a fucking tape is, you know what I mean? Like or a VHS. What the hell's a VHS? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I used to, as a kid, I used to shove my fucking sandwiches inside the VHS, and my mom would be fired up about that. It's, you know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. It's like fuck, but no, that shit's not dead. Fuck that.
for
That's
sure.
just alive.
'Cause people still buy vinyl, people still buy Blu-rays and all that. So I mean, it shouldn't be that much of a mystery.
Oh yeah, my fiance's son Evan, he buys the vinyl records still. He has a bunch of them.
So to go off on something completely different, what movies are you into?
Mm, movies. I love comedy, bro. I love everything that my fiance does not. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking, I love Goodfellas. I fucking, that's my probably one of my all-time favorite movies. I love comedies. Um,
What's some of your favorite movies?
some of my favorite movies. um, some of my favorite movies. I I like fucking the old Day of the Deads, or was it Dawn? with Ash. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, The Evil Dead.
Evil Dead. I like the old Evil Deads. I like Indiana Jones, the old ones. I love the Creep Show anthology. I like Blood and Blood Out, American Me, you know, the gangster movies. Fucking I like Donnie Brasco. That movie be cracking me up. He's fucking hey,
The
you
one
got a
with Johnny
couple.
Depp.
Yeah.
That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies too.
Yeah, remember during Christmas when he's like exchanging the gifts, like he's giving him money and then fucking he goes to leave and he's like, hey, you got a couple fazools I could borrow?
Yeah, it takes all the money back.
Yeah, and then he knows exactly where it is. He's like, no, you put it right here. You put it right here.
Yeah,
That shit cracked me up. But
it's a good movie.
yeah, I like a lot of old movies to be honest.
Oh, black and white or just older movies.
Yeah, I like Abbott and Costello.
Hmm.
I like old Abbott and Costello. I like hmm. Oh, I love Back to the Future. Love
Hmm.
those. Um, I love Red Dawn. I think Red Dawn might be one of my favorite movies too.
The old one.
The old one, yeah. A lot of people don't know about the old one.
Hmm.
Yeah, with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, from the 80s.
Yeah, yeah. I like Red Dawn. The Labyrinth. I fucking love The Labyrinth. Is probably maybe one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, a couple years back, I seen that in theaters.
The
They
Labyrinth
were replaying it. Yeah.
with David Bowie.
Hmm.
Oh, that's a trip. That's tight.
Yeah, they have a movie theater called the Alamo, if I'm not mistaken, and they play all old movies.
That's tight. Hell
Oh,
yeah.
coming up, I'm gonna go see Scarface on the 4th.
You know, it's crazy. I watched Scarface probably 100 times in my whole life, and I never finished it till maybe a year and a half ago.
Really?
Yeah, I
Kept
finally
you from
watched it.
watching the whole thing?
I think it's the way my mind works, bro. My mind works fucking crazy. Like, excuse me, even my lady will say she'll be like, I don't know why you even bother sitting here trying to pick a movie. She's like, you get so distracted because I always am just like constantly thinking. You know what I mean? Like about everything, especially music. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
always just like go to the lab and be like, okay, I'm gonna knock some wild out.
Yeah, I hear you.
Mm.
I don't know if you watch any of the recent Creep shows, the newer series. Have you seen those?
No, to be honest, I didn't even know they had them, and I guess I'd like to hear your piece on them, but I don't like. I didn't like the new Twilight Zones.
No, those are bad. But the new Creep shows are really good. You have to check it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have the seasons. I think they're into season 4 already. Season 1 was really good.
What's that on?
It's on Blu-ray, or it's also on fuck is that station called? It's not Chiller, but there's a station for it, and they just show horror movies.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's
I
like
can't even
IF
think of the
something.
name of it. Shutter, Shutter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I gotta check that out because I know the new because I like the old Twilight Zones. Um, the new ones I did not like. I did not like those.
You can't beat the black and white ones.
And they still creep me out too, even being a grown ass man, from a kid to a grown ass man. Some of them be hella trippy. I'll be like, what the fuck? How'd they think about that shit?
You've had paranormal encounters. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, that shit kind of tripping me out. Yeah. It tripped me out, especially the other day. Hold on, I want to keep my door open a little more because sometimes I'll be thinking it's just gonna fucking slam or something when I talk about shit like this. But the other day my fiance's son Preston, he's like, I guess he started telling my mom this. He's like, I hear someone going like, hey, like whispering, hey, and I've heard that my whole life,
Really?
and like it my whole life, and it just all fucking creeps me out, hella bad. Yeah, it fucking just creeps me the hell out. And then he says he hears other things and sees things. And I remember when I was a kid, I was at my best friend Isaiah Barnes' house, and he lived in Carmichael. It's in Sacramento. He lived in Carmichael, but the place behind his house, I think a girl was murdered, or it was either a cemetery or somebody got murdered, like right over the brick wall. Like as you walk out his door, is a brick wall, and then the property.
Mhm.
And I remember one night my sister and Isaiah were sitting there playing, watching the TV, and I looked out the window and I seen a little girl just like like, mind you, we're on the second story, but she was just standing there like staring at me like cold, frozen. And I couldn't look away for a second. I was just like stuck, and then I looked away and I looked back and she was still there. And it
Mhm.
was fucking as shit. That scared the hell out of me. That was
Speaking of
crazy.
that, you hear voices all the time, or you have throughout your life. Have you watched that voices video that I made?
Mm.
If you haven't, I'll have to send it to you. But it's basically the same thing where I was making resin figures a few years back, and outside I kept on hearing my woman's voice outside, and the dogs wouldn't go outside, and it was really weird. Like even looking outside, it looked different. It didn't look normal. So we were making resin the whole day, and I was taking a video to post up on Instagram. After we made the video, after I made the video, I played it back and it had my woman's voice, and she didn't say anything. And as she
What?
said, look at that in her voice in the video, but she wasn't saying anything at the time. So
What?
as the day progressed or the night went on, I just had the overwhelming feeling like something was going to get me when I went home. That I kept on hearing her voice, and she even heard her voice outside. Like I said, the dogs weren't going outside, and when I finally went home, because I live downtown area, that I've really felt like something was going to come and get me. But that was just one of the incidents that I had with voices like that.
Yeah, that's
Send you
crazy.
that video because I have the video up in that video.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
Yeah.
Um, I remember when I was a kid, my mom's friend, Trina, yeah, her name was Trina. She was like our next door neighbor. And I mean, don't really want to put her business out there. God bless her soul, but she died of complications of something. And I just remember she died in the apartment, I believe. But I remember the morning me and my sisters getting ready for school. And I remember this clear as day. I was sitting on the couch and there was just a little ray of sunshine coming, just peeking through the blinds a little bit. Mind you, I'm only at this point 5, 6 years old. But I just remember hearing my mom scream, like in the back room. She's on the phone, just started screaming. Found out that Trina had passed away. And like right when she started screaming, I had my hand on the armrest and I felt a hand like touch my hand, like a warmth just touch my hand and then kind of like just brush off, and I swear it was her or something. That shit was fucking crazy. And then my dad, he had a friend that was a surfer, or like an old surfer, and he lived in the hills in Santa Barbara, and it was like a lot of like Native American like burial grounds and different things of that nature. Like we're all they were native to that area, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so just like all around, lived in the middle of nowhere in the mountains, and I remember my dad before I came up, he would tell me he would always see stuff, like always see like women in like their clothing that they would have on and different things, and like even children, but just like walking in the distance.
Hmm.
And fucking one night we're sitting on the porch, and my dad has these tuning forks. You know what a tuning fork is?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad has these tuning forks, and like we're
Kind of
hitting
like in
them,
an L
and
shape. Is that what you're talking
no,
about?
no, they're like it's like a like that like a tuning fork where you hit it and it vibrates.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right.
Yeah, but he had like or it might not have been his, it might have been his, whoever was there, but they had a bunch of different ones. So it was like different vibrations and tones. And
Hmm.
we were outside doing them and it was a little late. And I remember like just putting it up to my ear and I looked off in the distance and I seen this like Native American woman walking super slow just through the trees.
Hmm.
And I fucking freaked out and just ran inside. I was like, this is just, first of all, the tuning forks were overwhelming. And that was just overly overwhelming. You know what I mean? So I was out.
I
That
always
was
tell my
crazy.
kids and everybody not to whistle in the dark because you don't never know what might come.
Oh, shit. That is true, huh?
Hmm.
Fuck, that's scary. Yeah, bro. I believe in everything, you know what I mean? Like all these, I don't know. It's just the world is, it's just too much, you know, that for it not to be true. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Did you
So
watch
like I
the Skinwalker video I made?
yeah, I like that one
Thanks.
for sure.
What'd you think about that?
That was a trip, and it was even more crazy because it was even more crazy because it was instances that were so coincidental leading up to you dropping that video.
Yeah.
Because I'd say about a month before that, I was watching a documentary on the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. A couple weeks after that, I'm reading about it constantly, and um, then my fiance's son brings it up like a week after that,
Mm.
and then like 3 days before you drop it, me and my fiance's come back from the casino, and she's been seeing the same thing because you have to drive like out in the middle of nowhere to get to the casino. You know what I mean? And so, fucking, she keeps seeing the same thing on this same road, like around the same time, same spot. And she says it just looks like a large kind of animal human figure, but it's so quick. She'll just say it jumps over the fence and then it's just gone.
Mm.
But she sees it constantly. And then you drop that video, and I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Has she ever seen it anywhere else?
No, I don't think so.
Mm.
That's why everything was so coincidental.
Yeah.
It was such a trip.
Yeah, because I'd worry about that if she's seen it anywhere else. Like it would be following her or something. Maybe it's just on that particular place.
Yeah, I don't know. But I know that right there is like, that's like a lot of, that's probably a lot of spiritual ground too. I know around here too, like, kind of where we're at, they were a lot of the roads, oh, excuse me, a lot of the roads they were repairing. They kept digging up a bunch of like burial grounds that were only like 2 feet shallow
Mhm.
and around homes and different things. So that's fucking trippy too.
Just had to ask you about that. So
Yeah.
everyone asks like the atypical questions. So I wanted to
No,
go
yeah, I
beyond
like
that.
for sure.
Is there anything else that you're into in life, collecting or anything like that? Video games, whatnot? Or you just don't have
Oh
time for stuff like that?
no, I got into Fortnite pretty wild, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Fucking I got into Fortnite like crazy. But
Still into that?
you said what?
Are you still into that?
Um I mean we took a break just because it was just like work studio video games, you know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
took away from like exercise and like certain, you know, it was very distracting. So I kind of, because I would spend hours on it, or like my fiance even got to the point she's spending hours on it. You know what I mean? Like,
Or you both were playing it?
yeah, the whole family is. You know what I'm saying? We're spending money on it, all kinds of just crazy shit. You know what I mean? So it's like,
It was
but
life consuming.
yeah, it got to that point. It got to that point to where we're excited. We're like, oh, it's the fucking end of the season. You know what I mean? And everybody's all huddled around the TV watching the finale. But um, video games, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I like gambling.
Yeah.
I'm
What do you
actually
play?
pretty good. I'm good at blackjack. I've actually gotten fairly good at blackjack, to be honest. And I know a lot of people say it's luck and things like that, but I think there's a strategy to it because I'm getting good. Like I'm almost getting so good to the point I already know what I'm gonna win. The thing is, because I like to play online, you know what I mean? So like, because you can play for real money online,
Hmm.
and so I know I feel more comment line online because like at the casinos I'll play blackjack. I've whooped them a couple times up there. Like
Hmm.
fucking a few weeks back, there's this you got the main bet, you got your little side bet, and then you got this red button that glows,
Hmm.
and they have the screen, so it's like a bonus. So if the dealer has a face card and then a six underneath, you get a chance to spin the wheel. But it doesn't happen that often. So the first time I asked him about it, I didn't put the five and it hit. I was like, fuck, I should have done it. So then I was at my very last hand. I put hella money in. I was like, fuck it. And then I just put that little bet. And then I got it. I got that the face card and the six. And then fucking so he's like, okay, now the only way you can get this bonus is if it lands on your seat. I'm sitting in seat four and it landed on seat four. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because the jackpot's $68,000, right? So I'm
Yeah.
sitting there like, oh fuck, this is what I've been waiting for. And so they spin it, and you see the pit boss, you see everybody just like tripping out, like he's about to get it, he's about to get it. And it barely nicked that three diamond mark where I was gonna hit it, and it just went 250. So
Oh,
I won 250, but I almost had that 68,000. I was like, oh shit.
yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Do you play roulette at all?
Yeah. I like roulette too.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I even like the machines. I like to play the diamonds. I don't know if
The
you ever played those
machine.
before. Yeah, the handle machines. What are they called?
What, like the slots?
Yeah, there you go, the slots.
Well, yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, no, I love slots for sure.
Even those are
And
pretty
we've
fun.
actually, this is going to sound kind of far fetched, but I feel like we've actually gotten to a point with slots where we kind of like know if it's going to hit or not, just certain machines,
Hmm.
like not necessarily a jackpot, but we're gonna be up. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
fucking weird. It's just it.
I always like to
Think maybe
go after people who've already played for a while.
that's a strategy. That's what they say to do, bro.
Yeah.
But it's
Just-
fucked up though. It's fucked up because there's been times where we got off a machine and I put hella money into it. Someone sits down, presses it one time, and fucking smacks on it.
yeah. Because we're out gambling, I think it was maybe 3 weeks ago, and we were playing roulette and we lost a couple hundred on roulette. So I went upstairs to play the slot machines and I waited until this guy got off and he wasn't winning at all. And I got on and I won, I think it was like 380. And after that, I was like, fuck it.
Oh,
One more than our money back. So let's get the fuck out of here.
yeah, for real, huh?
Yeah. It's pretty fun
I've been
though.
to, I've been to a casino in Colorado. The cabman took me one time. It was hella snowing though, but it was kind of a far drive, like up. It was like up a mountain, kind of.
Is Blackhawk. It was
I
like
don't remember what it
surrounded
was.
by mountains.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where it was. And all the casinos were in the middle.
yeah.
Yeah, that's where it was. That's where we're
Yeah,
just at.
oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going there probably like the third time I went to Colorado.
Does he still live out here?
Yeah, he does.
Okay. But he's just in
Yeah.
North Denver, right?
Um, if I gotta ask him, I can't even remember what town he lives in. I like that's one thing I'm hella bad with freeways. Even shit, I'm born and raised in, California. I don't even know the freeways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people ask me all the time, "Oh, did you take the woo woo woo?" I'll be like, shit, I don't know. We went the river way.
I won't take much of your time. I know you got a lot of stuff to do.
It's all good, brother. I appreciate you talking to me, man, and fucking I just appreciate the opportunity, you know what I mean? For real.
Yeah, and thank you very much for getting on.
You already know. It's love. And I definitely see I definitely see what you got going, you know what I'm saying? And it's different and it stands out like crazy and it's interesting, you know what I mean? It's not like what a lot of people put out. So I could definitely see that going far for sure.
And thank you for that. Is
Yeah,
there
you already
anything
know.
that you want to talk about before you leave? Anything you want to plug?
Um, Shit. I mean, honestly, I don't. Right now, April 1st, I guess. April 1st, you know, can't really announce too much, but it's just a lot of things changing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be focusing a lot on family and myself finally as an artist. You know what I mean? I haven't really given myself that chance to fully invest in myself. I'm always helping everybody else out. So I guess just expect a fire ass album. My first 100% real, fully produced solo album coming. If I'm gonna be working on the raps, got an album coming or an EP coming out with Lil Fred. I got the another album with the challenge like runners up. That one's slapping and probably doing some shows and shit. I'll definitely be in Colorado and Utah too this summer. So if you're out there, you know what I mean, tap in. That's pretty
Yeah,
much it.
yeah, definitely. If you're up in Colorado sometime, I'll hit you up and see where you're at. Meet up.
Oh yeah, it's all good for sure. Me and Catman will pull up. I'm gonna be out there this summer,
Yeah, that's
100%.
cool. We'll definitely have to
Yeah.
meet up. But all right, I appreciate you, Lazy.
Hey, right on, brother. Thank you.